Hey guys, happy Tuesday. It's Tom with On 10 with Tom, and I'm glad to see everybody. As you can see, I'm in the sanctuary, where hopefully we will all be soon. So, looking forward to that day. Now, have you found any unexpected, pleasant surprises through all this time? I don't know if you have or not. For us, it's been going through some old stuff and finding some old treasures. I found recently a church directory from a church I used to work at, and the directory was from 20 years ago. And so I went in and I was able to take some pictures of families that I had their kids in youth group 20 years ago and post them on Facebook yesterday, and got some incredible reactions as we looked back and went, wow, I can't believe that's been 20 years already. But it helped me to remember a lot of those good things from the past. And so I enjoyed doing that. So that was an unexpected pleasure for me and an unexpected surprise that's come about because of this. Now, sometimes you get great things out of surprises, sometimes not so much. And so today I just want to share a story about a surprise time. This happened back when we were in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania, shortly after Deb and I were married. And one of the big events in Lewisburg every year is their spring festival. It usually happens sometime in April, and it's a big craft event with lots of live music. And they basically shut down the entire town. Stores set up booths, craft people set up booths. There's people that come in from all over. There's a parade. It's just an incredible day. And so as part of that, every year, our church would be involved in setting up different things because our church sat on Main Street in town, and we would get to set up different booths and displays and games for kids, and we had a library there that would sponsor some things. And so every year they would ask us to do something a little different. A lot of times it was, we're going to have lemonade that we're going to sell or give out, or a kids area where we're going to have games for the kids. Just it varied from year to year. Well, one year they came to us and said, would you guys like to have the candy apple concession? They only give one of each concession in the town, and of course things are spread out all over town, but they said, you guys will have all the candy apples. Well, candy apple spring festival, that just sounds like a winner every time. And so we thought, yeah, we can do that. And so we gathered a team together, and we got lots of apples and lots of stuff to make the candy apples. And so on Friday evening, we got the group together and we started making candy apples. And we made dozens and dozens and dozens. I know we had somewhere between 100 and 200 candy apples. And we were looking to sell them for like $2 a piece. So it was going to be a nice little fundraiser for our mission trip the following year. That was coming up in just actually a couple of months, because April and then you're getting into summer. And so everybody was excited about it. We went home shortly after dark, knowing that we'd have to be back at the church at 8 o'clock the next morning. Well, during the night, this storm front rolled in, and it just unleashed tons and tons of rain. And so we got up the next morning, and we were getting phone calls and announcements that the city had decided to shut down the spring festival out of concern for flooding, because we were right along a river, and it was going to be too windy to set up the displays, and they were worried about stuff blowing around in town. And so now we find ourselves in a position where we've got all these candy apples to sell and no one to sell them to. So what are we going to do? And so I thought, we can't waste these things. Maybe we can make a little bit of money back in church, because there's a lot of children in the church, and so maybe we'll do it that way. And so we got up and got everything ready. We got it all moved into our kitchen, and it was all set up so that immediately after church on Sunday morning, we could open up the window in the church kitchen and sell reduced price candy apples. So instead of maybe making $2 a piece, maybe we could get $1.50 for them or whatever. And so it sounded like a really good plan, right? But we weren't expecting this. When the storm went through, behind it came a warm front. The kind of warm front that heated things up really quickly. So the temperature went from being really chilly to almost 80 degrees by late in the day. Now, the kitchen in our church had 4 levels. The kitchen was on the 4th level. Now, if you know anything about heat rises. And so outside was just getting warmer and warmer. You're in a building that begins to bake, and so the heat that accumulates from the ground up, all of it ends up in the kitchen. Now, normally that's not a problem because we have air conditioning, and so the air conditioning kicks on and everything's good, right? Well, not in this case. That Saturday, the air conditioning went out at the church. Now, if it happened any other day of the week, there'd have been somebody there in order to take care of things. Had it happened on Saturday while we were doing the Spring Festival, somebody would have noticed it. We could have taken care of it. But we don't know when it happened on Saturday, but not only did the air conditioning go off, but the heat began to blow. So not only we had hot air outside, hot air inside, all of it rising to the top. And so when we came in Sunday morning for worship, we're going to go in and we're going to sell all these candy apples. And what we ended up with was we had apples on a stick, and all of the candied stuff had just come right off. It was in a lump at the bottom of the apple, at the base of the apple. And now we had two different kinds. We had the red candied apples, like most people like. We also had the caramel apples, so we had two varieties. And I was kind of disgusted, and I'm like, oh, we wasted all this money, all this time, all this energy, and now we're going to have to throw all these away. But Deb came to the rescue. She said, we are not throwing these things away. And so she got with a couple of other ladies from the church, and they went to work. And they started working in the kitchen and mashing everything up and melting down all the caramel and the candy stuff. And it was now infiltrated into all the apples. You couldn't get them separated completely. And they started making applesauce. But it wasn't ordinary applesauce. We now had candy applesauce, and we had caramel applesauce. Well, at first the thought of that just sounded kind of disgusting. And I thought, well, who's going to buy that stuff? But they started to put a group together, and they started offering it for sale. And a bunch of the ladies in the church got all excited about it and thought, yeah, we'll buy a bag. And so they were selling it in little Ziploc baggies. Well, to help with the sales, they had taken a bowl of the candy applesauce and a bowl of the caramel applesauce, and they had begun to have samples. They had little sample spoons so people could try it. Well, once they tried it, they were like, yeah, we got to get some of this. And it sold out in literally just minutes. And we had requests to make more, and of course we didn't have any more materials to make more. We've never been able to duplicate that recipe, but it was an unexpected surprise, and it actually even started a bidding war because people wanted this candy applesauce so much that they were willing to pay even more. So God took what looked like a total meltdown and turned it into something really, really cool, and something that those who were involved will never forget. So what's God going to do in our little meltdown? We don't know, but I have a feeling he's not done yet, and we're going to have something good come out of this. So keep looking for how we can make that candy applesauce out of those melted apples. All right. Before we go today, just a couple of quick updates. We've been talking about confirmation beginning on August the 16th. One of the things that happens during the confirmation journey is that we have our confirmation retreat. Now, that's the one thing right now that is kind of iffy, and so we'll keep you posted as we go forward about whether or not that's going to be able to happen or how it may happen. So it's currently scheduled for in November. We'll get you exact dates later on, but we may have to tinker with that a little bit. We will keep you posted. The other thing, be on the lookout this week for an exciting announcement about stuff going on here at the Village Church. The announcement will probably come out on Friday, but I think everybody's going to be excited about it, and so we can start looking forward to some things, and I just can't wait. And so if you take a look around, you might get a clue, because you can see that the chairs look a little different than they looked the last time we were here. So it looks like we're getting ready for something. So we'll have some more information on that later in the week. So that's all we've got for today. I hope you have a wonderful Tuesday, and we will talk to you again tomorrow morning on 10 with Tom. I love you guys. Have a great day.